your hand if you kind of wrote off the Chiefs early on this season. Okay.
Let's be honest.
Let's be honest.
Let's be honest.
I wrote them off. I wrote them off, and then all of a sudden they catch fire at the right time, and now they're playing scary football.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of From the Sideline podcast. I'm back with the boys, man. How you guys doing?
What's up? Happy
Friday, fellas. How
you
guys doing?
You know I got tighten up in the house.
You already know. Tighten up.
Good? You feeling good?
Tis the season. I'm feeling great.
You guys better win that game tomorrow. All right,
hold on.
I vouched for you guys yesterday. We got Roy in the building. What's up, Roy?
Feeling good. Ready to get started.
All right, we got another special guest in the building. Evan, man, go ahead and introduce yourself for the people that's watching at home.
What's up, guys? My name is Evan. You can follow me on Twitter at the Great L Bushman, which is what I go by on my podcast, which I'm taking a break from doing podcasting for a little bit. But I'll come on as a guest, whoever wants me on. But yeah, man, it's a good week. It's been a good time to be a Tampa sports fan altogether because we're now we're on Tampa Bay. Unlike other cities around the U.S. So, yeah, it's nice to have the winning ways back in Tampa again.
Talk.
Well, we want to thank you for coming by and spending some time with us, man.
Yeah, no problem.
I mean, this should be a good one. We got a good weekend ahead of us. We're looking at some good games, some important games, for some of us. So we got to start with the Saturday game. And we're getting right into it, man. We got to start with that Saturday, Cincinnati, and tighten up. Mm-hmm. And we got to start with you, Tyner. What's up? What's your thoughts on this game?
I mean, I expect a close game for the first half. The Titans don't really have a history of blowing teams out in the first half. We as Titan fans, as Titan players, we like to wear our teams down. That's what I think our front four is going to do, especially with a struggling offensive line that they have going on over there in Cincinnati. I mean, Joe Burrow, he's fantastic. He's everything that was promoted, everything that we thought he was going to be. Jamar Chase, he's outstanding as well. That connection over there is starting to look a little deadly-ish, but for the most part, I trust that veteran. I trust the Titans veteran secondary. They're deep in the linebacking core. They have a deep front four. I expect them to get after Joe Burrow, get him off his point, make him uncomfortable early in the game. And then let's not forget, King Henry should be back. So of course, I'm itching to see how many carries he get, how quick they get him involved in the game. Hopefully, we got a good balance between him and Foreman, and hopefully Ike Hilliard, so that we don't have to rely on Derrick Henry too much. But it's all going to depend on that fourth quarter, how close the game is in that fourth quarter, depending on how much we're going to use them. That's what I believe. But I'm still going with the Titans, man. I'm going Titans all the way. But I'm congratulations to the Bengals for getting here. I know that they seem to be giving off the vibe that they're just happy to be here. They're happy to get past that first round, happy to get that monkey off their back as far as being a franchise not known for winning or getting to the playoffs. So I mean, congrats to them. But I think this is where the buck stops.
Evan.
Is it me or is Tennessee like one of the worst number one seeds that's ever been a number one seed?
One of the most disrespected, I'd say. One of the most disrespected.
I mean, yeah, before you go, Evan, Frank is looking for some respect. He's been out here week after week.
That's all I've been searching for.
Listen.
That's all I've been searching for, Evan.
You got the number one seed. I think I guess it's okay. But to me, they look to me like a number one seed that should be like a number 5 or 6 seed in the AFC. Mm-hmm. But hey, you got number one seed. Congratulations to you. You got the first round bye, which is good for you. You get all the guys that were on injury. They're back. Julio Jones is back. You got King Henry, which is coming back, which is huge for your ground game because now you don't have to rely on Ryan Tannehill to throw the ball because that's what you guys are known for is not throwing the ball at all. You just give it to King Henry. I like this matchup. It's an intriguing one. But man, I'm going with the Bengals, man. I really look. I really
early on them.
I know, man.
Early Evan.
I really love the way they've been playing on offense. They've been playing a clean offensive scheme. They haven't given up the ball since week 14, which is an incredible stat. And like you said before, that tandem with Burrow and Chase, and don't forget about T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd in there. Don't forget about that. And then Joe Mixon, who it used to be a fantasy frustration player, is now like emerged as one of the best backs in the league. This is going to be a fun game to watch. And I look at it as who's ever going to control the ground game is going to win this game. That's plain and simple. Whoever's going to get that ground game going, whoever's going to be controlling the clock. Now, is if King Henry is 100%, we don't know. If he's at maybe 75, 80%, let's see how many snaps he gets. But it's really going to come down to the ground game. And I love this matchup. It's an intriguing one. But I've got Cincinnati, man. I got Cincinnati by a field goal in this game. So it's going to be relatively close.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a really close one too. I don't think anyone's expecting this one to be a blowout. I really think that, I'm really stuck on these two teams, man, because I feel like I think it all depends on game script. If the Titans can go ahead and get ahead a little bit earlier, I think they can rely on that run game more. And also this also goes on how much of a workload is Derrick Henry going to see here? Is how many touches is he getting? I mean, don't get me wrong. Devontae Foreman and Hilliard, they're great, but they're not King Henry. Let's be honest with each other. And, I feel like that the Cincinnati Bengals are more likely to perform a comeback than the Titans are, just because of that Ryan Tannehill factor, And don't get me wrong, Tannehill, he's not a bad quarterback by any means, but he's more of a game manager than anything. But I really like Cincinnati in this one as well. But I don't know. Should I disrespect Frank some more? Nah,
I think so. I think so. You should.
Okay, I'll go with Cincinnati on this one, but I think this game could really flip flop depending on how game script looks.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm on your side, Frank. I got Titans in this.
I got somebody. I got
the Titans.
You don't want to feel you
don't
want. You can't be just a lone wolf.
Yeah, exactly.
I can't be on. Shout out to Taco and Touchdowns for having me on yesterday. Go check them out. But I can't go on somebody's podcast but I got the Titans, then come back and be like, yo, I got the Bengals. Because now you got tape.
I will say,
now you got tape of me saying it.
And Ryan Tannehill's defense, he's one of the most underrated dual quarterbacks in the NFL today. I mean, let's not forget, he was a wide receiver in college.
Yes.
He was a starting wide receiver in college, and he made that transition over to quarterback, but he still managed to keep that athleticism, that ability to keep plays alive. And the Titans already don't ask Ryan Tannehill to do too much. And I don't think that's gonna change come playoff time. I just think it's gonna a healthy Julio Jones, 100% healthy AJ Brown. I mean, I know we lost Michael Pruitt for the year, but we still have Anthony Ferguson. We still have a lot of guys at tight end that we can move around. It's just the Titans' unpredictability is the key, and it's been our key to our success throughout the whole year. Because a lot of teams don't know how to attack the Titans, and the Titans are one of those teams. I'd say they're one of three teams that have a clear-cut identity of who they are and what style of play they want to play and how they want to go about it. And they take on the identity of their head coach, Mike Vrabel, who I have as head coach. As coach of the year. I mean, they take on his identity and they take on his character. And I think that's just going to transition from the regular season into the playoffs. I know everybody in that locker room has been hearing all of the disrespect. Everybody has been going against the Titans since day one. So I know Mike Vrabel is pounding that into their heads, and they're going to come out with that emotion, that knowing that even though we're the number one seed, even though we're at home, we're still being disrespected. And I still think they're going to play with that fire. I think that's going to be the difference in that first quarter. If they can come out with that energy, punch them in the mouth with that attitude, then I think that'll be enough to back off that young Bengals team.
But we can't forget that the Bengals got a lot of momentum going into this game, bro. They just got that first
momentum on both sides.
Playoff win in 31 years. So I mean that got to speak for something. But I think it's the opposite of what Roy said, right? I think it's gonna Burrow's going to try to make that comeback drive, and the defense going to stop him. It's just my opinion. That's what I got.
I don't think it's gonna happen like that. I don't think there's gonna be a comeback needed because the Bengals are just gonna win this thing.
Oh my God.
We got
Disrespect is so heavy today. It's so heavy today.
4:30 tomorrow. All right, we're gonna see. All right, let's move on to 49ers Green Bay, man. We're gonna start with Roy.
49ers, thank you for your service in beating the Cowboys, but I think this is where the buck stops. Let's be honest. I mean, this 49ers team, they've had a great year. I mean, I don't think anyone has expected them to be where they are. I mean, especially with the whole injury bug plaguing the team and everything. But this Green Bay team, they are nasty. They are disgusting. And I think they are one of the favorites to go all the way. But the thing is, we always have that rift about the Packers is when it comes to the playoffs, their defense just falls apart. I mean, if you see King out there somewhere, target whoever he's covering, go towards him. That's been the motto for anyone playing the Packers. But I really feel like this might be the year where the Packers kind of pull it together. Granted, we've said this before, but I think that's different with the 49ers team who's really high coming off a win. It's not going to be an easy matchup. This is not going to be a blowout. This will be a close one as well. But I think Green Bay pulls it out in a nail biter. And I think I give them they win by maybe a touchdown, to be honest.
I mean, you guys know how I feel about the Packers. I mean, Evan, you might not know, but just to what Roy related to, but I have no faith in Aaron Rodgers. I mean, I don't think that this is the week that they're gonna falter. But however, I do believe that their time will eventually come, whether it's this round or whether it's the next round or whether it's the Super Bowl. I just don't have Aaron Rodgers and that deep. It's not just the defense. It's not just the defense. Aaron Rodgers is not the same. He doesn't play with the same confidence that he plays with in the regular season. I mean, there are times where he doesn't really have that sense of urgency, that killer instinct throughout 4 quarters that Tom Brady possesses. Tom Brady wants to dissect you every single play, every single quarter. They want to mentally get towards you. I mean, Aaron Rodgers, I think he relies so much on his throwing ability and his arm strength to get him out of certain situations that I think the team falls into that. They start to trust that Aaron Rodgers can throw you out of any situation, can throw you out of a bad start if you guys start off slow. When that's just not the case. He has times where he does it in the regular season, but in the playoff he just can't. He just struggles to make those game-winning plays, and it seems to be at the toughest times. I mean, I don't really see him having too much problem with that San Francisco secondary. However, it's all going to come down to how much Debo and Elijah Mitchell can play a factor in the game, because neither one of those guys, I mean, I believe neither one of those guys, definitely Elijah Mitchell, I'm not sure about Debo, but definitely Elijah, they wasn't there for that first go around. So, I mean, that can definitely play a part. And if the 49ers could bring that pressure that they gave to the Dallas Cowboys with their front four, just rushing their front four, if they can bring that pressure and that intensity to over to next week, I think they can make that game just as tough as it was for the Cowboys. I mean, I expect it to be an ugly game. I expect Aaron Rodgers to win an ugly game. I don't think it'll necessarily be because of Aaron Rodgers. I just think Jimmy G will go Jimmy G eventually, and he'll do something to cause them the game or put them behind. But I just think that eventually one of those great defenses or the really, really good defense, they always seem to catch up to Aaron Rodgers when it matters the most. And I'm expecting that outcome to happen at some point this year, if not this weekend.
Yeah, I like this match, and I think we're all kind of in agreement where Dallas always likes to choke in the playoffs. So congratulations to the 49ers for playing Dallas in the first round. So this is an intriguing matchup because the 49ers they always find some way to win, even though they almost lost against Dallas last week. Because, I mean, they had that game in the bag until the fourth quarter where they just let Dallas come back. And I was like, why do I have to hear another week? Do I have to hear another week from Cowboys fans about how good they are and they're the team of the century? So, I think it all comes down to the strength of the the defenses too, because 49ers are really banged up on defense right now. Nick Bosa is questionably, I think he's still in concussion protocol. So if he's going to be able to go on Saturday, and then going back to the run game too. I mean, Elijah Mitchell and then Deebo Samuel, who's become like a Cordell Patterson 2.0. I mean, you can put that guy anywhere. He's like a Swiss Army knife. But
absolutely,
if Jimmy G can carve up the Dallas secondary with like a half a thumb, I wonder what he's going to be like fully healthy, if he's fully healthy against the Packers defense. But I like the Packers in this, man. It's Aaron Rodgers. It's almost like he's on that middle finger tour of, hey, you were going to try and get rid of me, tour about, hey, is this going to be my last season in Green Bay? What better way for him to just have that middle finger still up while he's going through the playoffs? Of course, he'll probably stumble if he has to play Tampa again. But, I look at that Packers offense. It's A.J. Dillon, Aaron Jones in the back. Like, A.J. Dillon has thighs that are bigger than me.
yeah.
And the way they utilized him in the last game, even though like he was utilized the way he was supposed to, and that's a two-headed monster right there. And now Randall Cobb is back. You have him as another weapon for Aaron Rodgers to throw to. I've got the Packers in this. Plus they're at home in Lambeau where it's going to be freezing cold. I think what the biggest thing with the Packers is time management. And that's going back to last week too with the Dallas Cowboys, is their time management was terrible.
Horrible.
And the Packers are known for having really bad time management. And we saw that last year in the playoffs too, especially when they were playing Tampa. So if they're getting down to the weeds and they're behind San Fran, how is Matt LaFleur and Aaron Rodgers? Well, actually, I wouldn't say Aaron Rodgers. I would say, how is Matt LaFleur going to be able to manage his clock time if they're on that 2 minute drill? So I expect this game to be, I wouldn't say a blowout, but I've got Packers by a lot in this one. I think the Packers will overwhelm the 49ers banged up defense right now. I'm really interested in seeing if that matchup between Nick Bosa and David Bacardi is going to be happening too as well, because those two together, that's going to be fun to watch, especially on the offensive side for the Packers if Bacardi can keep Nick Bosa in check. So I've got Packers by 14 in this. It's not going to be close. It's not going to be a blowout, but I've got Packers by 14 in this one.
Yeah, I agree with everything you said, man. I don't need to say no more. I got the Packers, man. But staying with you, Evans.
Can I ask you guys something really quick?
Go ahead. Kick it.
Yeah, go ahead, man.
Before you go, specifically Evan and Roy, who do you guys think has the most pressure coaching wise in this game? Is it Matt LaFleur or is it Kyle Shanahan? Who has more pressure to get it done?
It's hands down LaFleur. Hands down LaFleur, because Shanahan doesn't really have that much pressure like he has LaFleur, because LaFleur is, you're back in it again. You're the number one seed. You're going into this again. If you falter again, now it's like a question of, okay, are you the guy really for the job? I mean, we've got questions and answers about Mike McCarthy. You were supposed to be going into this where you're going to be, Dallas is going to go back to the Super Bowl, which nobody ever thought that except for Dallas Cowboys fans. But I think the one guy that has the most pressure is LaFleur. But look at on the Shanahan side, Shanahan has had to deal with injuries upon injuries upon injuries, and San Fran really picked it up the last few weeks of the season to get into the playoffs. So he's got less pressure on him than LaFleur does, because of what Shanahan has been able to do with all the injuries they've had throughout the year. That to me is a great coach. LaFleur's got so much pressure on him because, well, Aaron Rodgers is, how is he going to get to the playoffs? And what happens after the season too? Are they going to trade Aaron Rodgers? Are they going to is he going to maybe retire and go host Jeopardy? So I think that's the most pressure is on LaFleur. And look, let's give all LaFleur the credit. I mean, for a guy that's been in the league, 2-3 years, he's been having a great coaching tandem so far. So I would say LaFleur's got the most hot seat right now.
And weren't they all together at one point in Washington?
Yeah, that was insane. I forgot all about that. When they were under Jay Gruden, you had McVay, you had LaFleur, and you had
Shanahan.
Yeah, that's right. It's insane. And then I look at it as well. They had all those guys as coordinators. Why couldn't they win in Washington?
Yeah.
What?
That just goes to show. That shows how dysfunctional Washington is. But
true.
But I would agree. I think all the pressure's on LaFleur here. I mean, Kyle Shanahan, Evan put it perfectly, is that the 49ers find a way to get it done. And that shows a lot on Kyle Shanahan's record. I mean, someone goes down, okay, it's next man up mentality, and they get it done almost every time. And so I think, the expectations wise, I think it can kind of stop here because they've already outperformed. Let's be honest with each other. And Matt LaFleur, I mean, the pressure's all on him. I mean, 110%. There's always the Aaron Rodgers thing. It's the can he perform in playoffs? Okay, well, this doesn't work. Do we maybe move on from LaFleur? Oh, no, wait, what about Rodgers? There's so many question marks that we don't know. And that's why I think all the pressure's on LaFleur here.
Plus, I think you also too forget Devontae Adams is still he's in his last year of his contract
Yeah.
too. So if Aaron Rodgers goes, Devontae Adams is probably going to go. We talked about that on my show. That are they a package deal?
I think
To the Giants.
I think they might be a Tom Brady Gronk situation.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe.
I mean, Pittsburgh's looking for a quarterback. I mean, and Aaron Rodgers and Mike Tomlin had this like bromance going on.
Yes,
so
they did. I love it.
You never know. Hey, just
I love
when
it.
they were staring at each other, and smiling at each other.
Mhm.
Mike Tomlin's looking at
Listen, I'll give you Mason Rudolph and Dwayne Haskins and probably a washer and dryer for Aaron Rodgers. If you do that.
Sounds good. I love it. I'm a
Depending
Steelers fan, so I
depending
love
on
it.
how Juju offseason go, he might be in that package too.
Yeah.
Sure. Goodness.
All right, but sticking with you, Evan, let's talk about this Rams Bucks game.
Yeah.
We
Wonder
know
who
you got
he's
the
going
Bucks.
for here.
We know you got the
Hmm.
Bucks, but let
okay.
me tell you so I can get you revved up a little bit.
Sure.
I actually got the Bucks losing there. I said it. I got to keep it. I'm consistent. Bucks lose second round. I just think the Rams defense is going to show up in this game a bit more than the Bucks defense, and I think defense is going to win this game for the Rams.
And I'm not gonna do a rebuttal on that because this does scare me a little bit. And now, of course, this matchup is a little bit different from when it was in the regular season because the Bucks were banged up on defense. Now they've got a ton of guys back. Now, of course, I think looking at this matchup, Bucks are at home, which is a plus, and the guys on defense are back. Levante David came back last week. He's back. The secondary has been really showing out, and that's one of the biggest Achilles heel for the Bucks is their secondary because it's obviously still too young. But I mean, look what we did against the Eagles last week. The Eagles were just nowhere to be found except for the last couple of minutes of the fourth quarter. I look at this matchup as it's Tom Brady. You're in the playoffs. Tom Brady in the playoffs usually doesn't falter, especially when he has missing pieces. I mean, Chris Godwin is out. ACL injury. Antonio Brown is in the crazy house doing TikTok videos now. And Leonard Fournette is still questionable and out. Ronald Jones is still questionable, probably going to be out. So we've been running with a, patch up work of running backs. I mean, Giovanni Bernard and Keyshawn Vaughn. Like, who would have thought they had a pretty good run game against the Eagles last week? I think it comes down to how Stafford's going to be against the Bucs defense, because if Stafford starts throwing picks, Rams are pretty much going to be done. I'm the matchup between the Bucs front seven against Aaron Donald and Von Miller. That's going to be a huge challenge. Tristan Wirfs went down with an injury last week. Ryan Jensen with an injury last week. They are both questionable right now. It's going to come up who's going to win in the trenches, and that's how it's going to be. This game won't be a blowout it's not going to be a really tough loss like it was last time against the Rams during the regular season. I see the Bucs winning this, but it's going to be a close game, and it's going to be loud and raging. I don't think you guys know how loud it gets down in Tampa Bay with all the cannons and all the crazy stuff that happens in Tampa Bay. I mean, we've got the largest strip clubs down the road. They're excited. They're ready to go too.
Oh yeah, they're ready.
This game will come down to the front seven and who's gonna. If Tom Brady's, if you make Tom Brady mad early, you don't want to have Tom Brady mad. That mad face it will ingrain in your psyche if you get him in. I say Bucs win 28-24 in this game, and they move on to the NFC Championship.
I got it a low scoring game.
Go ahead, Frank.
All right, so what I would say is this game is going to be, it's important for several Rams players. Number one, overall, Matt Stafford. Of course, I started off a couple weeks ago by saying that Matt Stafford and Derek Carr, those are the guys who I wanted to see in the playoffs the most. Matt Stafford, with him being the one who has the most pressure of all quarterbacks. Him and Josh Allen, I think they have the most pressure out of all quarterbacks and left in the playoffs to get it done, especially with their legacies being up in the air. I know Josh Allen got a lot more time than Matt Stafford. That's why it's urgent for Matt Stafford to really try to rewrite his legacy right now. And I think this is his best chance to do that and he has the defense, he has the offense, he has the coaching. Everything has to come together. Everything has to come together for those guys in order for them to win. Now, that's the big issue. I mean, we've seen at times during the season where things have clicked and they've looked like that Super Bowl caliber team, when they were that scary team that everyone talked about, everyone projected them to be.
It seemed like that in the NFC West all season long, where one of those teams would be hot, and then they would just go down. Like Arizona did that, LA did that, even San Francisco even did that. So it's kind of a running thing with West Coast teams. When
I agree.
Do yeah.
But what gives me the confidence is the fact that Tampa Bay is so banged up on offense. I mean, they're losing a lot of key players, a lot of players that made a lot of things happen for them last year in the playoffs. I mean, with Chris Godwin impact, I mean, he may not seem like the superstar go-to guy or the big name, but he's definitely a valuable weapon for Tom Brady whenever he's out there.
He was Tom Brady's like Edelman and Wes Welker. That's what he is.
Don't forget, guys, that Tom Brady can do a lot with less.
Yes.
Yeah. He still has Mike Evans. 100%. He still has Gronk too. So
we
factor in
on the podcast yesterday.
I trust him. I absolutely trust Tom Brady. That's why I got them going to the Super Bowl, but I got them winning this round just because I know that Tom seems to be Aaron Rodgers' kryptonite. So that's why I really want the Bucs to win, because I know for sure that when Aaron Rodgers looks across that field and he sees Tom Brady, I know just something clicks in his psyche where, I mean, the pressure gets on a little bit heavier. But for the Rams, it just seems like it's the perfect storm for these guys to come in and get that upset that I think they rightfully, I don't know, I wouldn't say that they deserve it, but
they don't deserve it at all.
They can definitely.
Not one bit.
I mean, they're definitely a team who we all wouldn't snub our nose if they wind up being in the Super Bowl. I mean, I don't think neither one of us. I mean, they can win the Super Bowl just off their defense alone. So I don't think anybody would snub that. And then having Matt Stafford and OBJ and Cooper Kupp and having weapons like that on offense. I mean, it's just like the Bills. Whether they can show some resemblance of a run game, they're going to have to show some resemblance of a run attack to balance out that pass attack. Because if they just go in there expecting Matt Stafford to throw them into a victory against that defense and against that front seven, especially with Vita Vea having another week, or Shaq, Shaq Barrett coming back.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, everything has to be right for them offensively. That's where the pressure comes in on Sean McVay. I think Sean McVay, the pressure's on him to really cook something up for this offense, to really put them in a position where they're not playing from down, where you're not putting Matt Stafford in these positions where he has to throw from third and longs, or he has to try to run outside the pocket to create things. If they can keep things simple, get the ball to your playmakers, let those guys make some plays, get Cooper Kupp the ball in the right positions down the field, I really think that they have the best chance on upsetting. I think they have the best chance on beating the Buccaneers out of all of the teams.
Stafford's going to be throwing a lot, because I mean they were fortunate enough they got Cam Akers back, and Cam Akers looked like he didn't even get injured last week, which is amazing, especially coming back.
That's what I'm saying. They're gonna have to show some type of resemblance of a run game, a run balance game, because I don't think that they could just go in there and expect that their front seven to hold up against the Buccaneers front four and front seven all game long for 4 quarters straight. And the Buccaneers are one of the most blitzing teams in the league. Yes. So they're going to be coming after Stafford, and there's going to be a lot of pressure on them all day. So to relieve some of that pressure on Stafford, they gotta show some run game. Whether it's the quick draws to Odell out of the backfield, jet sweeps, or hitches, something has to happen. Sean McVay has to create some type of opportunities for Matt Stafford, so Matt Stafford don't have to create those opportunities himself.
Yeah, I think this is going to be the best game in the playoffs. I mean, I really do, because I think these are two powerhouse teams going up against each other. And the situations are a little bit different. For the Rams, this is it. This is a one-and-done team just because of the stars that they brought in for this 1 year. So that's Super Bowl or bust.
Yep.
And this is when it comes time for them to prove it. I mean, you bring in Vaughn Miller on the one-year deal, Odell. I mean, like you're loading up for this 1 year. So, I mean, I would say the pressure's all on the Rams because, Tom Brady, he's been in these situations before. He's been in situations where he's been doubted in the playoffs. And you know what? Time and time again, he has proven that I can do this. I am the GOAT. So I think this is going to be a great matchup. And it does rely on the run game. I think one thing that does hurt, maybe if Tristan Wirfs is out, he is so important to that Buccaneers team. I mean, just and he's a stud. So I think it kind of depends on what happens with him. I mean, don't get me wrong, not having Chris Godwin, that hurts too. But I think not having Tristan Wirfs, that hurts a little bit more if you ask me. But I think the running game for the Rams, Cam Akers, I mean, a Florida State native, I used to watch him all the time in college. He was like that, man. He was good. And I mean, he tore his Achilles and preseason and everything, came back. I mean, looked like he never even got hurt.
Roy, so I'm an FSU fan, and it's the funny thing, like FSU breeds running backs, but they always get injured. They always get injured.
Yes.
Like Dalvin Cook, now Cam Akers.
Dalvin Cook. Yeah, I'm a Florida State fan too, so we relate on that. So I mean, watching him in college, man, and just knowing he had that potential coming here at the Rams, I think he can really help them out. And you still also have that change of pace back, with Sony Michel. So I mean, I think they can maybe get something going here. I mean, but the thing is, I think this whole entire game relies on what Matt Stafford does. What Matt Stafford do we get here? Do we get the Matt Stafford that makes all these mistakes and these bad reads and bad throws, or we get this Matt Stafford who, comes out and looks like he could be like one of the best quarterbacks in the league? I mean, because we don't know what we're going to get. Defensive wise, these are two defensive powerhouses. I mean, is it going to be a high scoring game? I don't think so. I think this is going to be a low scoring defensive battle. And did those get the most views on TV? No. People who appreciate good football, yes, they will love this game. I will say though, I think Tampa Bay does pull this one out, but I think that there's a lot of pressure on the Rams, and I would not be surprised if the Rams did win this game, but I do think the Buccaneers will pull it out.
Question for you guys. If the Bucs lose, God forbid, is this it for Tom Brady?
I would say no.
Yeah, even though he says he'll play till he's 50 because he's immortal and he drinks like the blood of children and avocado ice cream and all that stuff.
All those sacrifices.
He missed
No, I think he'll run it back at least one more time.
I think
especially with the way that team is constructed.
Yes.
I think he will run it back one more time.
I mean, we're in cap hell after this year, but
yes,
we'll see.
That's true. That's true. I think it depends on what you can bring back, to be honest with you.
You guys even have a plan. I have a question for you. What is y'all plan for the next quarterback if Tom Brady retires at the end of the season?
And this is a funny thing I always bring up on shows and on my show is, if Tom Brady decides not to come back, Aaron Rodgers is always, He's always mad in Green Bay. So if he wants to come down to Florida,
I don't think. But see, only thing I have with that is
bring Devontae Adams down with you. We can have a party.
Only thing I have with that is I don't think Aaron Rodgers wants to follow in Tom Brady's footsteps.
I agree. Yeah, that's one of the lingering questions that Bucs fans have is when he decides to hang it up, which it could be any year,
any day.
Yeah, it could be next year. It could be the year after that.
Right in the middle of the game.
Right in the middle of the game.
Evan, I got a question for you as well.
Yeah.
All right, so you being a Bucs fan, so I'm hoping you got a little bit more insight. What's the relationship between Tom Brady and BA? And if Tom Brady doesn't come back, do you think that will be a factor in him not coming back? Like, is the relationship isn't on?
Don't believe everything that you read on Twitter and all that stuff. Like, they have a great relationship. I would say this, both of those guys, Father Time is right behind him, especially for Tom Brady, even though Tom Brady could probably play till he's 50. Bruce Arians says he has no intention of leaving anytime soon either. So even if Tom Brady goes, I would say BA will probably stick around maybe for another year just to pass the baton to whoever it may be, because now you've got Todd Bowles and Byron Leftwich. They're interviewing for head coaching jobs around the league. So we don't know what's going to happen after this season. One of those guys could get hired or they could stay. You never know. So I would say if Tom Brady leaves, BA will stay and just pass the baton to somebody who's going to take over the head coaching slot, and then he'll go. Well, but like I said, we don't even know when that's going to happen because Tom Brady says, I can play to 50. BA's BA says, I'll play until it kills me. So we don't know when these guys are going to hang it up. You know what I mean? So it's a tough call. And as a fan, we're going to ride the wave until it's no longer there, man. And we'll go back to our losing ways and be the dumpster fires.
I think Bruce Arians and Tom Brady have a special relationship just because you see Bruce Arians will publicly say, okay, Tom Brady shouldn't have made this throw, or he should have done X, Y, and Z.
Right.
But that's it. That's the classic relationship they have, is where they hold each other accountable, but they know it's strictly professional, not me outing you and saying, oh, you suck, well, whatever. No, it's, hey, you made this wrong play. And I think Tom Brady enjoys that. I think he likes that. It's like, hey, my head coach doesn't think of me as the all high and mighty. He looks at me as another player and says, you know what? You made a mistake. I'm going to tell you what mistakes you made. And I think players, especially one like Tom Brady, really values that.
Yeah. And I think when their first like argument happened, like there's a certain sector of Bucks Twitter and fans that they're a bunch of morons. They are. They're idiots. They're stupid. And when that first came out, where they had like their first argument or first fight, it's like that's going to happen on the sideline with a coach and a quarterback. But I would rather have a coach that's going to call me out and hold me accountable to how I'm playing than somebody's that's not going to say anything at all. And Roy, I agree with you. Like Tom Brady wants that. He wants somebody to hold him accountable. Like when I'm making mistakes and when I mess up, somebody tell me. That way I can play better the next week going forward. You guys
don't think Bill did that? I mean, you don't think he had that type of relationship with Bill? Where, I mean, as far as
at the beginning,
I
think at the beginning, yes. But then once, look, when you win that many Super Bowls and you're Tom Brady, like you don't want, like, I'm sure when they had that relationship on when they first were together and they're coaching, they're winning all the Super Bowls. But I think the last few years when Tom was there, Tom was like, look, I want to see at the table. I want to be able to dictate who I'm going to bring. It's like the Aaron Rodgers thing. Aaron Rodgers is the same way. I want to have a seat at the table. I want to be able to pick the guys that I want to bring in and be able to manage, like help manage this team. And Tom Brady was wanting that in New England. And they were like, no, like we're not, look, we know that you brought us so many success, so many Super Bowl rings here, but it's not going to be like that. And that's why Tampa was such an attractive place for Tom to go down to, because look, Jason Light and the Glazers were like, what do you want? What do you want? What do you want? We will open the checkbook for you. Our accountants are ready on standby. Like, I want to hire them as my tax guys because the way they made cash available to bring in all the superstars they did for last year was strictly amazing. So once you're able to, we hold these quarterbacks to a huge pedestal because they are the generals of the team. And when you have a guy like Tom Brady and an Aaron Rodgers, and they've won and had success, you listen to them. You listen to what they want because they're going to win for you. And that's what Tom did last year when he was brought into Tampa was, what do you need? I will give it to you. Let's win a Super Bowl. Plain and simple.
Yeah. Now let's get to this last game. You have something else, Frank?
I mean, I was just going to add, I think that Tom might be, I mean, especially if he plans on playing the next 2, 3, 4 years, I think he might get, I don't know, he might get another itch to go somewhere else and try to win another ring somewhere else. I don't know. I doubt it. I don't know. I think he might. I mean, he's one of those guys who always loves challenging himself. And I think that can be another challenge in this. I don't think
he can go down to Houston.
The Lions.
He can go down to Houston.
I've seen memes about that.
Dallas. They can go to Dallas. Dallas been chasing him.
Hold on.
Jerry Jones would give him all the control.
Quick response, Frank. Quick response. Is there any other team that Tom Brady can go to that's that well put together for him and his play style?
I don't think so.
There's not. Yeah, I can't think of any team that
nothing comes to mind.
I don't see him when he leaves. He retires to me.
Yeah, we do things differently down here in Florida.
Yeah, let's get to the Kansas City Bills game. I'm gonna start this one off because I had a lot to say about the Bills yesterday. I had a lot to say about the Bills yesterday on Taco and touchdowns. So I'm gonna reiterate it, man. I don't believe in the Bills. I don't believe in Josh Allen. I think if Kansas City defense could keep playing the way they've been playing these last couple of weeks of the season in the playoffs last week, I think they could stop that run game, turn Josh Allen into a thrower, and then we know mistakes are going to happen. So I don't know if it's going to be a easy game or a blowout. I think it's going to be a shootout more or less, but I do see Kansas City winning this game. I just don't have faith in Josh Allen to get it done. But whoever want to start, to start.
This one, I'll start first. This will be a tough one for the Bills.
Yes.
And raise your hand if you kind of wrote off the Chiefs early on this season. Okay.
Let's be honest.
Let's be honest. I wrote them off. I wrote them off, and then all of a sudden they catch fire at the right time, and now they're playing scary football, and they're doing it now in the playoffs as the number 2 seed. So I agree with you, man. I don't trust Josh Allen in these type of situations, especially against the Chiefs and their Chiefs defense. Now, of course, the Chiefs gave up a ton of points and yardage to Cincinnati a couple weeks ago, but this is playoff time, and I just don't trust Josh Allen to perform well against the Chiefs.
Can I add one more thing?
Yeah.
If the Bills win this game, it's because Andy Reid got outcoached.
I agree. And I don't see that happening either.
I don't see that happening either. But if
that
does happen, if that
happens, then the Bills win this game.
Yeah. I think. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say Andy Reid's got cheeseburgers waiting for him after the game, so that's why I
got that right.
It's I like the matchup. It looks good on paper. I just don't think it's going to be the exciting game that we're all hoping for. That's going to happen. You know what I mean? Because it's Kansas City. They caught fire at the right time, and now they've got so many weapons, man. They're gonna beat you on defense too, dude. That's why it looks good. But when we're gonna see the execution on the field, it's gonna be the Chiefs all day.
Yeah, I think this is going to be I'll just go ahead and say I think this is going to be a Chiefs win because there's so many question marks regarding the Bills. I mean, one good thing, if you are a Bills fan and you're a Bills supporter, you look at that last game and you say, damn, you see what we could do when we really put it together. I mean, a perfect game, no punts, no field goal, all touchdowns. I mean, perfect game. Could not go better for your offense. But the thing is, even with all that being said, the Bills still don't have a run game. They have virtually none. Your best rusher is your quarterback. I mean, you have Devin Singletary. I mean, who I'll be honest is not a bad running back. It's just they just don't run the ball efficiently. They don't run the ball effectively. I mean, and you have Zach Moss, who's been a healthy scratch for half the year. It's like it doesn't make sense to me. I don't understand, but I just don't. I don't think the Bills can really keep up with this. And this not having Tre'Davious White, that really hurts as well. But this Chiefs team some of us counted them out earlier, but this Chiefs team, they're back and they are hot. They are on fire. And you might be looking and say, oh yeah, their offense is pretty good. No, their defense is also very good as well. Their defense can stop you up front. Their secondary is not terrible. They're not great, but they're not terrible. And I think if you have that, just with that loaded offense that they have, I don't think they can be stopped. And I say the Chiefs win this one. I think it's going to be a pretty convincing win for the Chiefs.
I think you guys are too high on the Chiefs. I mean, the Chiefs still got a lot of the Chiefs still have a lot of questions on that offensive line. They have not been consistent on that offensive line at all. And out of the last three Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes seasons, this has to be probably their worst season out of all of those 3 seasons. I'd say.
I agree.
I think we all can agree on that. I mean, and as far as if they lose Andy Reid being out coached, I mean, Andy Reid has a history of being out coached in real big games and big situations. So I mean, him
happened last year in the Super Bowl.
Today,
that's why I mentioned it. That's why I mentioned it.
That's true though.
Him being our coach is not like really an anomaly or anything like that. I mean, it's another legacy game, just like it was for Matt Stafford. This is a legacy game for Josh Allen because we all want to know if Josh Allen is really ready to take that next step and really be an elite quarterback and be amongst the Patrick Mahomes and the Aaron Rodgers and the Tom Brady. This is the time for him to really establish himself as an elite quarterback. And look at both teams, their last 3 games. Who's been impressive over their last 3?
Frank's frozen.
Uh-oh.
Frozen
They knew he
Frank.
was about to give a bad take. That's why they
Frozen
stopped him.
Frank.
They shut him down.
I would love for the Bills to win this game, because then now you have that rivalry we've been kind of wanting, like, with the Manning versus the Brady's and all that. Now we can have like a Mahomes versus a Josh Allen.
Can you hear us?
I think that'd be good.
Yeah.
I always heard y'all. What part did I mess up at?
We don't know. You just froze. You frozen Frank.
All right. So did you hear my take on Andy Reid?
Yep.
No. Wait. Yeah.
Yeah. We heard his take on Reid.
Andy Reid
he's gonna get out-coached. Yep.
I mean, he has a history of being out-coached. This is the time for Josh Allen to really prove that he's an elite quarterback, to be amongst those top 3 quarterbacks in the league. And to be honest, I mean, look at that Chiefs secondary, that you guys are talking about. I mean, they gave up like 24 points in the second half alone against that Chiefs team. I mean, some wild number around there, to just for the Chiefs to for the Bengals to come back and win that game. And who's been impressive over the last 3 stretches of their games? You can start by Josh Allen using his legs to get them the dub over there against the Ravens. I mean, he completely shredded a Bill Belichick defense that was known as one of the most top defenses in the league all year. He completely shredded them in the playoffs when it counted the most. I mean, Josh Allen is now starting to realize he has to use his legs a little bit more to be more effective, especially if they're not going to get that consistency from their offensive line. And just like you said, Singletary, he's a legit running back. I mean, he has flashes. He shows times where he can be a valuable. It's just the consistency of the offensive line and whether they can continuously get that push and get those linemen to that second and third level. And that's where they struggle the most. I mean, they don't have too much of a problem holding up and protecting Josh Allen, especially when it's time and in the clutch time. So I expect the upset. I expect the Tennessee Titans to play the Buffalo Bills next week. I don't have the faith that everybody else had. I didn't jump off the Chiefs bandwagon when they were down and out early in the season. I still thought that they were going to make the playoffs because I didn't completely trust the AFC West. So I always thought anything was possible as long as they had a chance to win their division. So, I mean, and if there's one team that can push them to the brink, you've seen when Patrick Mahomes goes up against another elite quarterback that can push him to the brink, those games are his toughest. You've seen him against Joe Burrow, and Josh Allen is more with that offense, and Sean McDermott, they're more than capable of cooking up something offensively to keep that offense, to keep that Kansas City offense on the sideline and keep plays alive, especially on third downs. I expect them to have great success against that secondary. It's all going to depend on whether that front seven can hold up against Kansas City's front 4. I know Chris Jones should be coming back. He should be healthy, but we don't know if he's going to be 100%. I mean, he hasn't played too much all year. So, I mean, and that defense haven't been completely consistent all year. So I'm not going to just throw all my faith into Kansas City and into Patrick Mahomes, because Patrick Mahomes has had some times this year where he's thrown some horrible passes.
Yes.
And he's even put them in bad positions at times with his bad playmaking, or just trying to do too much, trying to make things happen.
Yes.
And I still think that Patrick Mahomes, that's just something that's embedded in him. I don't think that's something that can really be coached out. He's always going to try to find a way to try to create some type of offense, to create a splash if there isn't any. And I think that that's going to be dangerous against this Buffalo Bills team, who still got a crazy front seven with Ed Oliver and Milano. They still got a great linebacking core in the front seven as well. So
I tell you this, though, I think the reason why Mahomes hasn't been playing well this season, or playing inconsistent, is because when you share the cover of Madden with Tom Brady, you just don't do that.
Yeah.
That's that Madden curse.
You don't do that at all. You don't share nothing with Tom Brady. You don't. I
agree.
Oh, no.
Take it all. That's what you do. All right. Anybody got anything to add about any other game that you guys missed out on? You want to bring back up? because we got to get to this segment. You guys know what segment it is.
Ooh.
Yeah. See, you heard that segment, them cheers? It was faint, but I heard them.
Expect a great offensive scheme from Todd Downing and the Tennessee Titans. I mean, Todd Downing, with losing Arthur Smith, a lot of people thought that our team and our scheme and a lot of things that we were doing offensive was going to falter. And Todd Downing came in and he picked right up where Arthur Smith left off. And he's even done it with less players. We're having a record 91 players on our team, and Todd Downing still managed to put the right guys in the right positions at all times. I mean, he absolutely deserves a lot more credit than he's actually getting. So I expect him to, especially with Derrick Henry being back, I expect him to really cook something up for Tannehill and our offense to really be creative in this game. I'm excited.
We shall see.
All right, and before we get to the segment, who you got, and I'll explain it to you in a little bit, L. Bushman. I'm calling you L. Bushman now. I think you earned it. All right. I think you earned L. Bushman. There's no more L. It's L. Bushman. Right. But you guys watching at home, we still do have the giveaway for the gift card. You just gotta go, if you're on YouTube, you gotta like and subscribe. Go over to Instagram, follow us, and find the picture of the episode that the question was originally asked in, which this one was in episode 20. And put the answer below that picture. Now, the question is, in 2015, King James got how many first round votes? I mean, how many first place votes for MVP? I'll read it one more time. In 2015, LeBron James got how many first place MVP votes? All right. If you got the answer, run over to Instagram, drop it below. All right. And you win the gift card. All right. Now let's get to our segment. Who you got? Because I'm ready. All right. It's a kind of short one.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's going to be good. All right, now this one's a little different in L. Bushman. How it works is I'm going to give you two names, and you just tell me who you prefer over the two. All right, so if I gave you LeBron Jr., you would tell me who you prefer. That's it. Today we're doing playoffs, divisional round,
like a lightning round kind of deal.
Yeah,
like music. You have a musical intro for this.
Yeah, just tell. I should. Thank you. That's an idea.
And now, who you got?
Yo, I'm telling you, I'm gonna figure it out now. Now you gave me an idea. Right. I've been trying to find a soundboard. Don't worry, I'm trying to work on it. All right, but yeah, I'm gonna give you two names. So this is playoffs. All right, this is divisional round playoffs. I'm gonna give you two teams that played. So for instance, I'll give you the Giants versus Green Bay in 2007 versus the New York Jets versus New England in 2010. You're just going to tell me which game you prefer over the other one. All right.
Gotcha.
Everybody good? Let's get to the first one. The first one is the Pittsburgh Steelers versus the San Diego Chargers in 2008, or the New York Giants versus Green Bay in 2007. Who you got?
Give me the Pittsburgh and the Chargers, man. Phillip Rivers against Prime Ben. Come on.
Yeah, I'll go with the Pittsburgh Chargers game.
All right. Right.
I'm going with that New York Giants game.
Come over to the side.
I believe that was a win for them in Lambeau. You know what I mean? So anytime you can go into Lambeau in the playoffs and get a dub, you gotta get that some credit.
All right, next one. I got the Chicago Bears versus Seattle in 2006. Or Arizona.
Is that Rex Grossman? That's Rex Grossman. Oh my God.
Or Arizona versus New England in 2009. Who you got?
You mean New Orleans?
New Orleans.
Yeah, New Orleans.
Well, you know what? F the Saints. So give me some Rex Grossman, man.
I want to watch some Rex Grossman.
Yeah, give me some Rex Grossman, bro.
Oh my God.
Well, y'all going Bears?
Yeah, I'm going Bears and Seahawks. Man.
I totally forgot about Rex Grossman. That's a memory.
That was like the last time the Bears were good is when they had Rex Grossman.
That's such a shame.
That's a laugh, bro. That's a good one. All right, this next one should be fun. All right, we got the New York Jets versus New England in 2010.
It's a controversial one.
Or San Francisco 49ers versus the Carolina Panthers in 2013. Who you got?
Give me franchise. Mark franchise. I want Sanchez.
Give me the Jets.
That was the AFC Championship game, wasn't it?
I believe it was.
Yeah.
It probably was. I think
Yeah.
I
believe
think I
that
did
was
grab that one
correct.
because I wanted to throw it in.
Mark
Give
franchise.
me butt fumble. I'll give me butt fumble.
Yeah.
Mark
All right, that's
Sanchez.
we got our first unanimous. All right. Next one we got is Baltimore versus Houston in 2011,
Oh.
or Green Bay versus Dallas in 2014.
Green Bay and Dallas. Anytime the Dallas Cowboys get beat.
Yeah.
Right away. Answer right
agree.
away.
Yeah, it's time.
I agree.
yeah.
I'm with the Packers on
Who
that
you
one.
got, Frank?
I'm going to Ravens. It was a catch. Dez should have got it, man. It was a damn catch.
Frank,
Dez dropped it.
Bushman. All right.
Yeah, years later, they came back and said it was a catch.
Good so far. You're having
That's
fun with this one. It's good so far.
Yeah, we good. We
All
straight.
right. Next one. New England versus Kansas City in 2015, or Atlanta versus Seattle in 2012. Who you got?
New England.
New England.
Yeah, it's Sir Thomas Brady.
All right, another unanimous. All right, next one. We got Minnesota versus the Saints in 2017, or Denver versus Pittsburgh in 2015.
Is that Saints game? Is that the Miracle in
That's
Minneapolis
the Miracle.
game?
That's
Give me the Miracle in
Miracle.
Minneapolis game.
Give
'Cause
me the
anytime,
miracle.
give me
yeah,
that
I'm
too.
about to say.
anytime you beat the
Unanimous.
Saints, anytime the Saints lose, that's cool with me.
When
too
I
as
was
well,
making
man.
this last night,
Yeah.
right? Because I finished this up last night, like 2:00 in the morning. In my head, I was like, "Who that gonna beat them Saints?"
Yeah, I'll go with the Saints. Love you, Ben.
Man.
but-
All right, we got two more. All right. Next one is the LA Rams versus Dallas in 2018, or the Tennessee Titans versus the Ravens in 2019.
It's so weird to see Todd
The
Gurley be so
Titans.
good.
I know.
You know where I'm going. I'm going with the Titans, baby.
Yeah, I'll go with Titans.
Number one seed.
Titans and Ravens.
That was a great win.
Yeah, I'll go with the Titans. Yeah,
Another
that's fine.
unanimous.
That's good.
That's what I'm talking about. There we go.
God, I miss
That's
Todd
what I'm
Gurley,
talking-
man.
Thank you, fellas.
Jeez.
That's all I
Gurley.
need. That's all we need.
Hey,
See, I told you you've been looking for respect.
Blame
That's
the
all I'm
Rams for
looking
running him
for.
into the ground, man.
They
Just
did.
blame the Rams.
They did.
did.
I
Put
talked
them
about
into the
this
ground.
yesterday on the podcast, talking on touchdowns. I said
That's
it.
terrible.
I said it. Him, Deontay Freeman. This is what teams do. They take young quarterbacks and they run them into the ground early, and then they're useless in 3 years.
Young running backs. Yep.
Running backs, yep.
That's why you got to go to the parking lot. Ask the guy that's pushing the carts if you want to take.
That's
some
why the
handoffs.
Cowboys need to move on from Zeke and have
Giants
Tony
need to
Pollard's the
move-
future.
And
Pollard's the
Giants need
future.
to move on for Saquon. Let's
Yep.
get it.
and
all
Christian McCaffrey needs to go from the Panthers too.
All right,
Yeah.
last one.
We're
Last
covering
one.
a lot here.
Oh, that's a
Kansas
hot
City
take.
versus the Cleveland Browns in 2020, or San Francisco 49ers versus the Vikings in 2020.
I'll go with a San Fran.
I'll go San Fran. Yeah, that's good enough.
I'm okay.
I hate seeing Cleveland in the playoffs. I always do.
What you say, Frank?
I said, I actually, I mean, I never really got a chance to see Cleveland in the playoffs, so it was actually dope to see them in the playoffs. I mean, so that's what made it dope for me.
So
You're
Yeah,
picking,
I'm
you're
going
picking them?
KC, yeah.
Oh man,
All
well,
right,
they
we
lost
got
that game
the
anyway.
last one.
Spoiler
Yeah, they
alert.
lost.
This game is lit. All right, and that's the end of that.
All right, thanks for
All right.
playing.
That's right.
That's
That's our favorite
good.
segment right there. How did
Thanks
you feel
for
about that,
playing.
Bushman?
Who you
You
got?
guys, I'm telling you, so we gotta. Somebody gotta help me on the back end, bro. We gotta make this happen. How did you feel about that, Bushman? I always like to get thoughts about that segment.
I like it, man. As long as you get me to do the and now you played who you got.
Listen,
Yours.
can you pre-record it and send it to me?
Yeah, why not?
All
All right, we got it.
Word, thank
You're
you,
set.
appreciate it.
Yeah,
Right
you're
here
set.
on From the Sideline, it happens right on
We'll
the
do it
show.
live.
All right,
We'll
so
do it
now
live.
we're moving into
Dope.
another segment that's creeping up. You know, it's creeping up in our hearts, and it's called "What Do You Know?" All right, and this
Oh,
is the first three is just regular football, and then we start getting into divisional games. All right,
Oh, shit.
all right. So you just give me the answer. Whoever gets the answer is the correct answer. All right.
Oof.
I didn't know we had a
Starting off
test to
easy.
do.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Did you
yeah.
study?
Yeah.
We got quizzes.
I
like
barely
quizzes.
remember yesterday, let alone this
Yeah,
week.
where's the-
Who you telling? All right, you ready? First question. What team was the first to lose 4 Super Bowls in consecutive seasons?
Buffalo
Bills.
Bills.
Buffalo Bills.
Yeah. I don't even know who said it first.
We all
said
know
first.
it. That's all that
I said
matters.
first.
He
Yeah,
did
we're
guess
going.
first. He did
I
get
said
it
We
first.
got one right.
That's an easy one.
Frank don't care as long as somebody get them right. Bro.
Red
Yeah.
Bull, yo. I'm winning for
All right.
all.
All right, Frank, I got you right here. How many Super Bowls have the Green Bay Packers won?
4.
4, yeah, 4.
Roy said that?
I got that. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
See, I told you I start off easy.
Yeah.
The first 2, then one with Favre, and then one with Rodgers.
All right. What is the
Yep.
only NFL team to complete a perfect season?
Patriots.
Dolphins.
Patriots and
Dolphins.
The Dolphins is correct.
Damn.
All right. Now
I
we
showed
get
my
into
age.
now we
Patriots
get
were
into the
this close.
yeah, and you know who stopped them? That guy right there in that corner, right there.
Larry Bird?
No,
Larry
no,
Bird
right
stopped
next to him.
He hit
Right
that
next to
corner
him.
3 and it was over.
Right next to him. He showed Tom Brady up. He threw a laser dot. All right, you know that guy can pass. All right, now we're getting into divisional. All right. On January 19, 2002, the Patriots and the Raiders matched up in the divisional round. How many points were scored in the fourth quarter?
That was how many years ago?
Let me see.
I don't remember much of the 2000s.
Tuck
It
Rule
gets
has
recent
one,
as
How
we
many
go on.
total?
How many
Total?
total points was scored in the fourth quarter?
17.
3.
17 is incorrect. 21 is
21.
incorrect.
3.
3 is correct. Somebody check this guy Google.
So yeah. Someone check his browser history real quick.
I knew it was that damn field goal.
All right, so in some of these questions, I didn't want to confuse you guys, so I wrote the complete season, so 05-06 season, because the new year comes around and the playoffs actually happen in that new year, so I didn't want to confuse people.
Okay.
All right, so the next question is, in the second round of the 05-06 playoffs, the Seahawks met the Washington football team where Matt Hasselbeck threw his only touchdown to who?
Sean Alexander.
Nope. Roy just flushed it. He said, nah, bro, nah. Who was the wide receiver that caught the touchdown?
Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
You
I'm
said,
out.
what year is this? What year is this?
06.
Can I phone a friend? Or do 50-50?
Yeah.
Yeah, I gave you
Was it
50,
Sidney
05,
Rice?
06. Nope, it was Darrell Jackson.
Oh wow, that's a name I haven't heard in forever.
All right.
Gosh.
All right, now we in the 2010s, all right?
Okay. I
All
have
right,
a chance now.
going back to the Mark Sanchez game. All right, how many touchdowns did Mark Sanchez throw in his divisional round win over the Patriots in 2010, 2011?
3.
2.
That is correct. 3.
3.
3.
Yeah.
All right, next one. In 2012, 2013, the divisional round, how many points did Atlanta beat the Seahawks by?
I think they
10?
beat them by 14.
That's incorrect. Somebody said 10?
Mm-hmm.
That's incorrect.
3.
Ooh, that was close, but it was 2.
2. Oh, I never would even
close.
have guessed that.
I
Close.
win, Frank. I win. All right. In 2015, 2016 divisional round, how many yards did Peyton Manning throw against the Steelers?
Oh, 400.
Not
That's
many.
incorrect.
Not many.
That is incorrect. He said it's Peyton Manning. It's 400.
I won under 150.
Incorrect.
Ooh.
125.
Incorrect. 222 yards.
Oh, okay.
All right. All right.
Respectable. Respectable.
What was the score in the 2017-2018 divisional round between Philly and Atlanta?
Oh,
What was the final score?
I would say it was 21-17.
Okay.
Okay.
I was blackout drunk. I don't know.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
21-17.
15-10. All
That's
right.
a scoreagami. There you go.
Last question. All right. L, you guys can't be letting, hold on. Let me establish something here. You guys, I appreciate you, L. Bushman, but you guys can't be coming here and letting the guest beat you guys. All right. This
Well,
guy got 4 right.
I'm learning
and
as
he
I
about to
go.
get the
I'm
last one
learning.
right,
This
too.
is an educational experience.
All
At this
right.
Yeah,
point.
I mean,
You
I'm
said
the teacher,
2002. I was 3 years old at the time. Come on.
Yeah, 2002. I was sophomore in college, and I
I
was
was 3.
drinking
I
my
started
ass
thinking
off.
about it, like, am I going back too far? We normally
I
do
was
from
3
the
years
2000s. Hey, maybe you watched it when you got older.
Shit.
Last question. Aaron Rodgers completed how many passes in his 2020-2021 divisional matchup against the LA Rams?
23.
Ooh, Frank with the buzzer beater. 23 is correct.
Hmm.
How you know that?
How do you know that?
How you
Yeah,
know that?
I just know it. I low key know everything. So
He's
I
a
gotta make it
he's
fun
a
for both of
closeted
you guys,
Aaron
man.
Rodgers
He
fan.
said-
Yeah,
low-key
you're a
closet
low
Aaron
key
Rodgers fan.
Rodgers fan. That's what it is.
Yeah.
You just like in public, you just act like you
Wait,
don't
did he
like
get
them.
the other Rodgers fan correct too? The other question?
Pack of jerseys.
Nah, Frank only got one correct. But
Mm.
now that's the segment
I
of
mean, I got
what
a
you
couple
know.
correct, but
Underneath
that's
that hoodie, he has an Aaron Rodgers man bun.
Yeah, little bit.
Yeah,
You know.
definitely. He just didn't slick it down yet.
Hey,
He
yo,
didn't slick it
chill,
down.
yo.
He wrapped it up more. He said, "Oh no, they're on to me."
But yeah, we're about to move into our basketball topics. So, El Bushman, this is going to be our send off to you, man. I appreciate you stopping by. We had so much fun, man. I want to tell you, if you ever do want to come back, you got the time, man. Let me know. Hit me up. Let me know. Tuesdays and Fridays is when we record.
Let's do it again for the championship weekend. Let's do it for the NFC and
Yes,
AFC
sir.
championship.
Okay.
Let's get it.
Go.
Let's get it.
Wait,
Yeah.
hold on. Let me get the dates of that because you know I gotta go
Yeah.
by dates. I'm black.
Well, thanks for coming, man. It's been fun.
Yeah,
I mean, it's
I
definitely
love
been
finding
doing,
another
man.
Florida State fan. Oh my god.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
Bless
Thanks,
up.
thanks for having me on, guys. Yeah, I haven't.
What is that?
Man.
So
Love
what is
your
it next
insight,
week,
bro.
right? The next weekend?
I believe it is.
So next Friday the 28th?
It is January 30th. So yeah, next weekend.
Mhm. Gotcha.
Next weekend.
Yeah, it's a Sunday, right? Yeah, the 30th.
Yep,
All right.
the
So
30th.
yeah, I'll get with you then and we could definitely have you back on. We can talk about it, man. Thank
Yeah,
you for
let's do
stopping
it.
by.
Real,
We
man.
appreciate it, man. And
Thanks
like
for
I
having
said,
me on, guys.
anytime you want to come back, just let us know, man.
Yeah.
All right, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks for having me on.
All
Thanks,
right,
brother.
peace.
See ya.
Have a good one, man.
All right, man. That's Al Bushman. So I didn't know that guy was on TV. He had a TV show. He had a sports TV show.
Yeah,
I
on
didn't
Fox
know
Sports.
that.
I think I remember.
That was that was a little shocking to me. So that's two special guests in 1 week.
Jeez, we're
Whoa.
going crazy.
That's right. So you guys at home, man, keep rocking with us. Make sure you go like these videos, man. Subscribe to us, man. Help us get this out to more people, man. Help us with that YouTube algorithm. If you're watching this over on, I'm listening to us on Spotify, Apple Music, Apple Podcasts. I gotta stop saying Apple Music and Google Podcasts. Man, give us a rating, man. You let us know how you feel about us. If you want to be on the show, find us on Instagram at From the Sideline Podcast. It's in the description below. But let's get to these NBA hot topics. All right, I'm starting it off today because we got Bobo. All right, we got Bobo, and I'm seeing it like, okay, every time Jason Tatum missed, Bobo gets the rebound. Like, it's going to be crazy. If they could make it work, bro, it's going to be crazy. And then Bobo can space the floor because he can shoot the 3 too. Okay, not crowding the paint. I don't know what
Did he just get hurt?
I don't know, but when he come back, we got it. All right, we got it. I just hope the Boston don't do Bobo how they did Taco. That's the only concern I have.
That's what.
All right,
That's
only concern I
what
have.
the Nuggets, I think, was worried about. That's why they didn't really rush him along, because they didn't really know how that body would hold up. And now we're starting to see you guys are starting to give him more play. And as soon as he gets too much play and he does too much with that small frame but that long body. I mean, now he's out for like 4 to 6 weeks, and who knows if it's going to be one of those lingering injuries. This might be the start of. Hopefully, I hope it's not, because I really do like Bobo's play. I mean, I think that was
But
a
I
big.
think Bobo is
that's
more.
a big
Bobo could be more
guys.
utilized than Taco Falls. That's what I think. That
I agree. I agree
Bobo,
with that.
and I think Bobo has a lot more skill than Taco, because
Agreed.
Bobo can actually space the floor and shoot the 3 too. So even if you give him a minimum role, 15, 20 minutes a game, you can literally space the floor with the other guys and utilize him in a way where he's helpful. Whereas the Nuggets wasn't really trying to utilize him anyway. He was only playing 5 minutes for him.
Yeah.
So,
he's like another Porzingis, like another unicorn.
Let me tell you, man. I was when I found out we got Bol. You know what I did? I went back and I looked at the summer league games when he first got in, man. And I like where he got the dominant playing time. You showed they were giving him the ball, letting him do whatever he wanted. Oh my gosh, that gave me just a feeling of joy just watching, because he can be like a playmaker too. That's the crazy part about it. Is with that build and that frame, you're like, oh, just stick him down. No, this man was pulling up from deep, pulling up contested. I mean, doing passes between the legs.
Shot too.
Yes, he does.
That shot is beautiful.
That's what I'm
Somebody
saying,
for
man.
that tall. That's what I'm saying. He's another unicorn, like a Porzingis. I mean, and if his body can hold up, if he can get
That's
that
the
build,
question. Yeah.
he can build up like a Giannis, or get that Giannis building.
That's the question.
Please.
Yeah. I think the potential is definitely there. I mean, just got to stay healthy, which is obviously easier said than done. But I think that's a good pickup for the Celtics there. I really do think so.
I'm glad the Nuggets freed him, to be honest, Joe, because them just holding them and just not playing
doing
them
anything.
at times and just playing them in real garbage minutes. I mean, I couldn't. That's just
That doesn't
I don't know
develop a
what that
player
coaching
how it
staff thinking
should.
about.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
I
wanted to
agree.
talk about two more things, but one briefly, and then I want to get into the other one. The Nets assistant coach that smacked the ball while it was in play and knocked it out of bounds. He got fined, but come on, bro, you can't be doing that. Like that's like equivalent to the coach a couple of years ago that tripped the player while he was running with the kickoff, and he's about
That
to
was Mike Tomlin.
You would know.
I was at that game.
Yeah, you cannot do that, Nets assistant coach. You cannot hit the ball while the players are playing, bro. You should know that. You're a professional. That's why you're on the sideline. All right, that's an amateur move. All right, but the thing I want to get into is what is it going to mean for the Bulls that Lonzo is going to miss 6 to 8 weeks?
That
Talk
hurts.
about Taco. Taco ain't gonna hurt us much as long as Williams in the game. We good, but now you're putting the pressure really on DeRozan and Lamar and Vucevic. Now I guess Vucevic can step up and take a little bigger of a role. But like, what are you guys' thoughts on the Bulls and what they looking like?
If there's a time for DeMar DeRozan to make a case for MVP, now's the time to do it. Now's 100% the time to do it. This is the time to show that, hey, I really am that guy. And here's me putting up my numbers. Here's me supporting it in the win column. Here's his chance to do all that stuff that all these doubters are going. I mean, because DeMar DeRozan doesn't have that big flashy name. It's DeMar DeRozan. So it's like, we're trying to see what he's really like. So I think this says a lot for him, but I think as a team, I do think this is going to cost them some games. I don't think it's going to be all sunshine and rainbows for them. But I mean, that team needs Lonzo. They really do. Lonzo's definitely put in his role in that team is a lot more important than people think. Cause Lonzo's not the type who puts up crazy big numbers, he's a really big supporting cast and he plays a really pivotal role in doing that. I really think that they need him back. But if the Bulls can I would say just tread water, if they could just tread water with where they are now, don't fall behind too far, I think they'll be just fine.
All right. So real quick, just to go back to that Nets thing with the coach hitting the ball. What frustrated me most about that situation is the fact that the referees were so smug about even giving it a review. Like it wasn't how they just declared that it wasn't even a reviewable play. And one of the referees was literally standing right there in front of it just to see that the guy touched the ball. And I just think that their attitude is what frustrated me just as much as the assistant coach hitting the ball. And the fact, I know it didn't cost them the game, but who knows at that point.
Yeah, if that happened down the stretch, then
that's what I'm saying.
More than a fine, like that guy got to go.
That's a vital time. So I mean, that if there was ever a time where something needed to be played back or a moment or a game or something would be replayed, I would do on that situation, just because I've never seen anything like that in the NBA. Like, I mean, I've literally never seen it. I've saw some guys spilling water and stuff on the floor, but I've never saw somebody go to the extent of actually slapping the ball that's in play. And just, I mean, that was just something that's just like egregious. And as far as this Lonzo Ball and how much that's going to impact the Bulls, to be honest, I mean, it's like 50-50. Will it impact them as far as their ability to maintain as the top seed? I think so, just because everybody else is getting so close. They're tied at the moment with the Miami Heat for the best record in the league. With Miami having a game ahead. I think they won a game more, but they lost a game more as well. But yeah, I eventually expect that reeling Miami Heat team to take over as the number one seed. Then eventually I expect at the end of the season the Brooklyn Nets to be a top seed, unless they start purposely tanking to do what you guys said last week and put themselves in the position where they're on the road and they got the chance to play with Kyrie for 4 games instead of the 3. Unless something like that happens, I got the Nets being the number one seed. I think the Miami Heat, I told you that they're going to be. Those are my dark horses of the Eastern Conference. They were my dark horses from the beginning of the year. Them and the Atlanta Hawks. I'm slowly but surely falling off that Atlanta Hawks wave. I don't think that they're going to be able to. I don't know if they got enough firepower defensively to make a comeback, to put themselves in a position where they can be in the play-in. Or like, I think a lot of things got to happen. A lot of pieces got to fall for those guys to get in position. But in a sense, to where I don't think is going to help is where they've all improved individually, and I think it's just going to have to rely on their bench players a lot more. Their bench players is just going to force them to step up. They got the players. I mean, they got the bench talent to step up and replace him. It's not like Lonzo was the 1 or the 2 option. He was a number 1 and number 2 option. If one of those guys go down and they're out for a stretch, then I can say that they're going to be in some trouble. Zach LaVine down for a couple weeks for as long as that, then I'd say they're in trouble. I mean, but as vital as Lonzo's role is, as far as distributing and defending, and now even hitting the 3-ball consistently.
Yeah.
I mean, I still think that they have other pieces in place to kind of fill in that role. I mean, enough to keep them afloat. I think that you'll see his impact needed more so in the bigger games. But they got a favorable schedule coming up, so it's not like they got a super tough schedule. I mean, so that definitely works in their favor as far as not have to go through that grueling schedule. But for the most part, I mean, if they could hold on and stay in a 2 or 3 seed, that's by far exceeding expectations coming into the year, because I don't think any one of us thought that they'd even be a top 3 seed at this point, or even at any point of the year. You feel me? So they still is far exceeded expectations as far as this first half of the year. So they just need to get this first half done with, then get everybody back healthy, and start the second half back fresh. Then I think they can pick back up and still remain as one of the top 3 seeds. So I mean, I'm cool off them for right now.
Whew. Okay.
Anybody else got
ready?
some hot topics?
I have a hot topic.
It's not about the Grizzlies again, all right?
It's not about the Grizzlies, but I still stand with that one. All right, you ready? This is on a team on the other side. It's a team on the other side.
Boston, let's go.
No, sir. I'm telling you what. The Toronto Raptors are going to be the Atlanta Hawks of this year. That's right. As of last year, how the Hawks were last year, the Raptors are going to be that this year.
I really like Scotty Barnes, and that's another thing I wanted to jump into.
Thank you. I'm glad.
Scotty
Barnes.
I didn't hear neither one of you scream anything about the Raptors.
No, I didn't say. Hold on. I didn't say anything about the Raptors.
It's a hot take. This is a hot take because we don't talk about the Raptors. We don't talk about the Raptors.
I just know why they're a hot take.
Don't say we. Don't say we. Go ahead, Roy.
Don't say we. Look. I'm telling you, this Raptors team. I mean, I gotta say, at the beginning of the year, I wasn't watching many Raptors games, but you know what? I started watching some a couple last week. This week, man, this team looks pretty good. They look pretty good. They look like they can go on some runs. Now they have had some kind of ugly losses, but look, Fred VanVleet really stepping up. Past Spicy Piece, Pascal Siakam. Jesus, his name's a tongue twister. I mean, he's showing up too, and I'm so glad that you said Scotty Barnes, because Scotty Barnes, another Florida State guy, go Noles. But Scotty Barnes is really showing out too, and not just that, Gary Trent Jr. A lot of people forgot about him. He's showing out here too, and they even have a veteran presence with Goran Dragic. So it's like,
who's in Miami right now?
Who, Goran?
Working out in Miami?
Yeah, Goran Dragic. Yeah, Goran Dragic's on the Raptors.
He's in the Raptors, brother.
Yeah, but he was working out in Miami.
Oh, who caars about that? He's working out for the Raptors.
Yeah, that's what you think. That's what you think.
All I'm saying is, look,
they're just wear the uniform.
Right now, they're 500. They're dead even 500. I think they're the 10th. I think they're in 10th right now.
No,
in the East.
Boston's in 10th.
9th then?
They're like 8th or 9th right now.
8th or 9th, but I think they move up, and I don't even think they see a playing game. That's a bold claim.
Oh, no, they are 10th. Celtics moved up there.
Yeah, they are 10th. I don't think the Raptors see a playing game. I say they make the 8th seed. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I say who coming out? The Wizards?
Wizards are falling. Cavaliers are falling. That's right. You heard it here first. Well, we call them hot takes for a reason.
Well, we talked about the Cavs falling off already. We talked about the Wizards falling off. So you are right, Roy. They did hear it here first.
Exactly.
But yeah, I don't know. I think Boston's gonna step it up. We 500.
Mm-hmm. I don't know, man. This
Toronto
Raptors
2
team.
games
I
back
will
from
say?
us.
I have been impressed with the games that they were supposed to. Well, a lot of the games that they weren't supposed to win, like against the elite teams. I watched the game against the Buccaneers. I mean the Bucks,
Mm-hmm.
and I like the energy. I like how they play. I mean, if they can play like that, I mean, I can definitely go with you. But they have too many cases where, I mean, it's almost like the Lakers. To be honest, like they have a game, they'll play the really good teams. They'll win a tough game against a really good team, but then they'll play like a mediocre or a team that they're supposed to
I
play, and then
agree.
they'll wind up losing some stupid ridiculous number that they're not supposed to be losing. And then they're going like a 2-game losing streak, going a 2-game winning streak, to win 1, win 3. I mean, it's too much inconsistency going on.
I agree with that.
I think they're missing a true go-to scorer.
You want to know what? I'm glad you said that because you just set me up perfectly. I think OG Anunoby's really stepping up and can really be a very big focal point on that team.
Be the number one.
He's not that guy yet. He is not that guy yet. I'm saying
So we thought that about Siakam like 2 years ago.
but Siakam's been a reliable.
I mean,
he's the second
he's like all-star.
point scorer on that team.
He is. I'm not
Fred
dying
VanVleet's
still.
number
He got
1,
still.
then Siakam, and then OG's right there.
I don't disagree with VanVleet being number 1. Right? But how does Siakam let VanVleet, because he was kind of getting that name when Fred was still behind Lowry.
Correct.
Siakam was.
I don't think neither one of them really care about being the number one.
No, I don't think they
number
do.
one guy. I don't think their team is built.
They're a
around
big team play.
Yeah, they are.
They're team.
But
play.
I do like Scotty Barnes. I like the way Scotty Barnes plays, and I think
Scotty Barnes plays tough.
That one go-to guy who they can go to in the clutch. I mean, Scotty Barnes can be that guy, but right now he's still so young and experienced, and he does a lot of young stuff on offensively. So I mean. So,
he's third. Scotty Barnes third.
That's definitely a hot take.
Rookie ladder right now.
I think he should be higher.
I think he should be above Cade.
I think
he should be above Cade because Cade is second.
I think
Cade's starting to grow into his own now.
Evan Mobley is first, which I'm not mad at Mobley.
Mobley can be first.
I think, I'm just going to look at it real quick. So
Scotty Barnes should be higher.
Evan Mobley is 14.9 points, 7.9 rebounds, 2.6 assists. Cade is 15.7 points, 5.7 rebounds, 5.4 assists, and then Barnes is 14.5 points, 7.9 rebounds, and 3.5 assists.
Now Cade has really stepped up here recently.
Barnes got some big ass hands.
Scotty Barnes, I like it. I like it, man. I like this Raptors team. Cade's really stepping into his own now. I mean, I think towards the beginning of the year, Cade was kind of disappointing a little bit, but I mean, that's what happens though. I mean, these are rookies. This is the first time they're coming in. You can't expect it. Cade's going to be a good ball player. He's going to be a pretty important piece on the team.
Not to cut you out on, who I thought was going to be good, but is not? The dude from the Pistons that they drafted, I think last year or the year before that, Hayes.
The light skinned dude. I forgot his name.
Killian
Hayes or whatever.
Yeah, I thought he was gonna be good, and it's just like it don't look like
he's still really. They're all
young.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. I was just about to say that. Maybe it's just the system for him. How those guys over there and the Pistons are like playing more efficiently. Then maybe he needs a new fresher system to.
And they keep going through all these coaches over there. And once they get
that's true.
There's no consistency.
You can't do that with young guys. You shake their confidence, and they don't know what's going on. They got to learn a new system every damn day.
I think where the Pistons really messed up was getting rid of Christian Wood when they did. They had an all-star and they didn't.
But maybe it was the system though. Maybe Christian Wood would have been good.
He was showing out in Detroit. He was showing out there.
To improve. I don't think that he planned on staying there.
Yeah.
No one plans on staying in Detroit. Let's be honest with each other.
Nah, 2 years I'm out. That's it.
Yeah, exactly.
2 years I'm out. I'll take the
stone
for 2 years, but then I'm going to play
stepping stone. That's my hot take.
Hot take for you, yo.
Go ahead. Frank. Hit us with it.
Well, I'm back in New York for my hot take.
Ooh.
How last week we had Frankie V on the hot seat. and all of the speculation around him. Not even last week, just this week, early this week. I mean, there was a lot of speculation about if the Lakers continue to lose, if the slide continues, that his job could be in jeopardy. And I'm starting to think that he needs some company on that hot seat.
Oh, who's he being accompanied by?
I'm starting to think that Tom Thibodeau needs to be on that hot seat.
Oh.
He needs to be getting ready to get on that hot seat over there in New York.
You think so?
Now, I absolutely think if this ship keeps sinking the way that it's sinking right now, with them being in 10th place, currently at 20 and 22, and things do not seem to be getting better. With the addition of a guy who everybody raved about in Cam Reddish, if this ship continues to sink, he definitely needs to be on the hot seat. I mean, he already has a history of underachieving.
Yes.
I mean, he had some really good years in Chicago. And granted, we didn't get to see his that plan come to fruition with Derrick Rose being injured. So I wouldn't hold that against him. But since his tenure in Chicago, he's had a total of two total playoff wins. In the last 6 years, 5 to 6 years, he has 2 playoff wins. And this guy is supposed to be amongst your elite coaches.
Yes.
Your elite coaches. He has a history of underachieving with capable talent. He had some talent over there in Minnesota. He had Jimmy Butler. He had Cat. He had D'Angelo. And that you saw how that faltered. Everything faltered over there. He wound up having 1 winning season out of his 3 years over there. He goes to the Knicks. Granted, he has his hand on changing things around and changing them into somewhat of a relevant franchise, and just getting that stench of being a losing franchise, just getting that out of the arena. Granted, he has his hand on that, but he slick has his hand in that as far as everywhere he goes. When he was in Minnesota, he had complete control over everything as far as who he brought in,
right?
Who he hired. Everything went through Tom Thibodeau, and they managed to make the playoffs 1 year in Minnesota.
Yeah.
And he comes to New York. They just barely sneak into the playoffs in New York. And now after a disappointing year, they add some more players. You add guys like Kemba Walker, you add Cam Reddish, and you're on the verge at the halfway point of not even making the playoffs. So I'm saying I will go as far as to say, if this team makes a playoff, I really think if you're gonna fire Frankie V for underachieving in just this 1 year, we're having an injured team, at least Frankie V has a championship to back that up.
Yeah.
Tom Thibodeau doesn't have anything to back up the fact that he's gonna continuously change this around. I think he has a ceiling as a coach, and every team that he's on and that he's been on so far has had a ceiling outside of Minnesota. Minnesota had a ceiling that I don't think that they got a chance to reach with having Tom Thibodeau, but I think that goes as far as front office as well. But he has to bear some of the blame because of so much control and so much say-so that he had for his tenure in Minnesota. And I don't think that they left on the best terms over there. And it doesn't look like things are starting to turn around. So I think that if things doesn't turn around this year for the New York Knicks, Tom Thibodeau has to go. I already think Julius Randle has 1 foot out the door.
I agree.
Getting ready to he could be requesting a trade any day now with the attitude and with the relationship that's going on with him and his fan and him and the fans. And you've seen the last couple of games, he's starting to get into it with his teammates on the court.
It doesn't look how it used to.
It doesn't. It's not looking good. It's starting to look real Minnesota-ish back in New York. And while they got this ship kind of right, before it completely sinks, I think they need to make some drastic moves. I think I'll give him a chance. I mean, it's still early. We still haven't completely reached the halfway mark of the season yet. But I'll give him until about, I'd say, April.
Okay.
I'd say the end of February, April, to start to really turn things around. If we don't start to see any type of changes from this team, he definitely deserves to be on the hot seat right along with Frankie V. And they should start putting in calls for Julius Randle before the trade deadline. That's my New York hot take.
I like that hot take, man. And look, let's be honest with Thibodeau. It's like dysfunction kind of follows him wherever he goes. That's what it seems like, at least. And one thing with having young teams is you want to see progression. Right now, we're seeing the opposite. We're seeing regression. And that's something that no owner, I don't care if your name is James Dolan, you don't like to see it. Okay, any competent owner, you don't like to see that with young teams. We made a good step, in the past couple of years or whatever. We made playoffs. We did this. Okay, and then he comes down around to this year, and you're like, okay, where's that fire? Where's that team that we had playing with that energy? We were all supporting each other, and now it's like, what's leadership doing? Like, not just from an ownership standpoint, but also from the player standpoint as well. It's like, who are we rallying around? When things don't go right, you look for your leaders to help you out. Who are they looking for? Because
that's exactly what
because you would look and
I
say,
want to know.
Logic. You look on the paper and you say, okay, we can look at Julius Randle. Well, Julius Randle, like how you said, has 1 foot out the door already. So it's like, how much of a support are you really going to get from him? I mean, for someone who doesn't even want to be there. And Thibodeau, I mean, it just kind of seems like he's letting everything just kind of happen. That's why I looked in Minnesota. It looked like he was like, all this drama's going on around me. Okay. Yeah, Jimmy Butler, grab all the bench players and whoop our starters' ass.
Beat them all up, Jimmy.
Yeah.
Beat them all up.
Yeah, and he's just there. He's just like, all right, cool. Like, okay, Thibodeau, do something. You're the coach. We need you, And I think Thibodeau, if things keep going how they are, Thibodeau's gone, and maybe Julius Randle's gone as well.
I ain't got no opposers or whatever the word is. I don't got no objections or nothing.
No opposition. That's what I like.
I ain't got nothing. They sitting down in 11th place. They're looking like they're going to be a damn play-in team. Right along with the damn Atlanta Hawks. I ain't got nothing to say about them team. Come on, Boston, keep pushing. Let's go. Big B. Any more hot takes? You got any more hot takes, man?
You got anything, Roy, real quick?
Go ahead.
Just want to go real quick. I'll make this hot take quick. To put the King in MVP consideration.
To put the
Repeat
King?
that? Repeat that?
Time to put the King, LeBron James, in serious MVP consideration. I know what I said earlier in the week when we went over who we thought was the MVPs, and I said Kevin Durant and Steph Curry. And in researching for my hot take, I really took some time. Let me tell you guys, I really took some time, and I sat back and I tried to think of a really good take, like something. And in the midst of that, I start going through my videos. I start watching TV. I'm on YouTube. I'm looking at reports, and then I'm going through games, and somehow, and I go back as far as December, and then I check the numbers from King James from December, and now that are carrying into January, he averaged 29, 8.5, 6 points, with shooting 55% and 76 from the free throw line in the month of December. I mean, that sounds like and mind you, he's doing this in his 19th year. Now, granted, I understand the stats have to go somewhat hand in hand with the team's success. Now, if you want to put him out of the category, if you want to throw him out of contention just off that alone, I can't be mad. But in the same breath, I'll turn that around and I'll use it in my defense. And in spite of that, LeBron James still has his team. I mean, they're just short of 500 at 22 and 23, but that's going to change tonight because they're playing the Orlando Magic. So that's an easy. They'll be right back to 500.
Here we go, guys.
So the Lakers will be right back to 500. And in the month of January so far, LeBron
the Lakers
James
go into that game thinking it's an easy
25,
wash. They're going to lose.
25, 8, and 7 in the month of January, and the Lakers are right there at 500. So his efficiency is up. His 3-point shooting is up from last year. His free throw shooting is up from last year, and the team is still at 500. And they're still well in position of making the playoff. They're not in threat of missing the playoffs. but they are in somewhat of threat of making the play in. And however, in his 19th year, his 19th season, he still ranks amongst the most efficient players in the league today. And he's currently, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, he's at number 2 in scoring in the league in the league this year. He's number 2 in scoring this year. So you tell me if you're telling me that his wins, that the team's success is the reason why he doesn't deserve serious consideration, I would hear you. But then I would turn that around and use it in my argument and tell you that's the exact reason why he needs to be in serious consideration for winning the MVP. And if this team turns it around, and if this team manages to get to a 5 seed or a 6 seed, which is pretty possible, seeing that Utah has they can definitely do some sliding. There's a couple teams in the West, in the mid-tier West team, those mid-tier teams, they can do a little bit of sliding throughout the year. If he manages to get his team out just outside of that play-in, he absolutely should to be amongst the top 2, top 3 MVP candidates. And that's my hot take.
All right, so Giannis is 28.5 points, 11.5 rebounds, 6 assists. Jokic is 25.5 points, 14 rebounds, 7 assists. Kevin Durant, 29.7 points, 5.7 rebounds, 5.9 assists. Joel Embiid, 27.1, 10 rebounds, and 4 assists. DeMar DeRozan, 26, 5 and 4. So you said top 3. Is Giannis stats not better? Is his team not in a better position? Is Jokic not in a better position with better stats?
Who's in year 19
KD
without
your
go-to guy with Russell Westbrook?
With his stats?
Doesn't have his go-to guy. He has Russell Westbrook.
Ja Morant might win MVP this year. So that's what it is. Ja Morant might win MVP this year. As much respect people want to give LeBron for his past doings, and they want to give him some MVPs that they think he should have won, they're not giving it to LeBron. Consensus have been written already. Voters fatigue. They don't want to vote LeBron no more. That's why in 2012 they got 5 votes.
I don't think it's voters fatigue at all.
Definitely voters fatigue.
LeBron hasn't won it enough to be voters fatigue.
Then he win it. Somebody else won it. He won it. How many he got? Like 3, right?
He has like 3 or 4.
4, right? 4. Okay.
In 19 years, I mean that's not voters fatigue, and it's not like he's having them in a row back to back.
Why did you? Well, D-Rose.
This is why. This is what I'm saying. You gave me all of those stats.
I'm just saying these guys got better stats and better.
He's number 2 in scoring in the league in year 19.
KD is number 1
with
scoring
Russell Westbrook.
In the league. KD is
who has a Russell Westbrook on their team
without Kyrie before Kyrie came back to play away games, and he had his team first in the East all the way up until the point where COVID hit, and then they all had to sit out and they had to play names out of the G League and people that were sitting home on the couch. And then they fell to the 3rd seed now with the Heat creeping up. So we can't take it as like, Kevin Durant ain't doing something amazing over there with James Harden not living up to what he living up, to Kyrie not being there, the team on the pieces that they have in roll. Right. But I'm just saying,
we've always seen, and this is not even the best.
That's my hot take to counter. If I'm giving it to somebody, it's DeMar DeRozan, bro.
I'm giving it to Ja Morant. Let's go.
And LeBron has clear better stats than both of those guys.
That's cool, but he ain't on the Grizzlies though.
LeBron is ranked. First of all, LeBron is ranked 9th, right? And DeMar DeRozan and Ja Morant is ranked above him in the MVP ladder right now.
That's cool, but Ja Morant is 6.
So what I'm trying to say is
he's not outside the top 5.
Not to take nothing away from LeBron. I agree with what you're saying. Like they should consider him, but you got to think about all the other talent and what they're doing in the league too. And if LeBron finishes at the bottom of the league, if he finishes at the bottom of the 8, if he finishes in 8, if LeBron finishes in 8, what are they going through
compared to LeBron?
But look, they're doing amazing things. They're carrying their teams to high seeds in the season right now, bro.
Teams. We can't
do that. We can't do that, Frank.
We got to give this.
He built this team, bro. No, he built this team.
The Lakers have been one of the.
He could have went out and got young pieces. He could have replaced Kuzma and them guys with younger pieces to do what he does, like he always does. Instead,
Russell Westbrook.
Right. Instead, he thinks AD. He thinks AD is the answer, but he gets hurt too much. AD is a very skilled big man. He's one of the top big men when he's healthy, but he gets injured too much. And then you go get Carmelo, Westbrook. That's not the recipe at 19 years old that you need. Yo, that's going to factor into it. Like, yo, he had all these geezers around him. Why wouldn't he fucking score all these damn points?
Yeah.
No, people, and I hear people saying it. It's not me saying it, right? I don't believe that. I don't believe that.
Because
but I didn't hear people say this, bro. So it's like
we weren't calling Melo an old geezer when he was hitting threes in Portland, rejuvenating his career. So now all of a sudden, 1 year later, he gets with LA. 1 year later, he gets with LA, and now he's an old geezer. I mean, he has his games where he's on, but he has his games where he's off.
That's what they're saying, though. They got a bunch of old geezers. Charles Barkley, they got a bunch of old geezers over there. They ain't going to win none. They can't move. Well, I mean, Roy kind of said it when he was like, they can't keep up with the young guys. That's a factor, bro. When people vote MVP, yo, that's what they're going to look at. Your team success, your success, but that it goes together. And when you're looking at KD, Giannis, DeMar DeRozan,
they haven't been 100% healthy yet. We haven't played with 100% roster.
So what if they finish the season? What if they finish the season not playing with 100% roster? Then what?
And we still managed to get into the playoffs?
8 seed.
You mean to tell me?
8 seed. So you telling me an 8 seed guy going to win the MVP?
So you mean to tell me?
You telling me if LeBron finishes the 8th seed, they go just yes or no, Frank. If LeBron finishes the 8th seed, he should win MVP. He said yes, and we couldn't hear him. It did come through, but he said yes. That's crazy.
Because I gotta say, if we're playing with the same injury-prone team, if Anthony Davis is in and out of the lineup, if Trevor Ariza is in and out of the lineup, if we got point guards in and out of the lineup, if Frankie V gets fired and we have to go through another coach, and we still manage to make the playoffs with LeBron James being the number 2 scorer in the league, you mean to tell me he doesn't deserve consideration for MVP?
No, I said
just
I
because
agree with you. He deserves consideration,
in the Western
but I'm saying
Conference?
like that's as far as it goes.
I mean, like serious. I mean, when I say consideration,
bro. Like,
I mean serious consideration.
He has consideration.
Like amongst the top 2, top 3.
He's 9th in votes. Like, no, he has consideration. He's
that's
9th,
just consideration.
No, that's not. That's consideration, bro.
Consideration.
He's listen. Rudy Gobert is under him, right? Devin Booker is under him. Luka is under him. James Harden is under him. Zach LaVine is under him. Frank. He's getting it. The people that's above him they're willing their teams to better success, and that's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. So you can't look at a guy that's going to finish with the 8th seed with all these numbers. When has that ever happened?
You can't judge him off team success if his team
I'm just saying. But that goes into it. What is the MVP? Most valuable player. That means you playing on your team. You're the most valuable player.
Exactly.
So that's what I'm saying. So when you're looking at a team that's the 1, 2, or 3 seed, you're not going to look at this guy because he's LeBron James and be like, yeah, you should be 3rd. You LeBron James. You scoring 30 a game. You got your team to the 8th seed.
I don't want you to go too far, because you said I wanted to stop you at MVP. You said I wanted to stop you. Can you go back to your comment at MVP?
What is the MVP? Is the most valuable player?
The most valuable player, right? The most valuable player.
So you telling me right now, LeBron is more valuable than KD? Hear me. Let's get it, Frank. We're supposed to be at
LeBron. Hear me. If LeBron is the most valuable player on an injury depleted team who still manages to make it to the playoffs, in the hardest conference in the league. You mean to tell me he doesn't deserve top 3 consideration?
No, because there are guys that are out there doing more than him, bro. Yes, that's how it works. Tell me what AFC player won a MVP? Because I might be mistaken here. Somebody probably did it.
Russell Westbrook,
the hardest.
He was 6th
in the league.
He was
averaging triple doubles,
but he was 6th. He was 6th. He wasn't 8th. He was 6th.
Even still, but
the hardest conference in the
league. But if the Lakers got it to
right, Roy, tell him, Roy.
The hardest conference in the league.
I tag Roy in.
The hardest conference in the league, man. The West is so top heavy. That's all they are, top heavy. Everything after 6 and 7, they're not. Yeah, the Timberwolves above the Lakers, for Christ's sakes, man. Come on.
Those 4 top. Those 4 top play. The 4 top player teams in the East and the West. In the Western Conference are the guys that are projected to win the championship.
Okay, so they're top heavy. They're top heavy. They're top heavy. Everything after 6 is. I'll refrain from using profanity. I'll be nice.
Okay.
They're dog water.
You got the
Dog
Suns,
water.
you got the Suns, Warriors, Grizzlies, Jazz, Mavs, Nuggets, Timberwolves
Stop.
above the Lakers.
The Timberwolves.
And I know they're injured, and you guys like to count injury for something, man. It is next man up. It's next man up. That's the game we play, bro.
Kyle
Not
Shanahan,
always the
next
case.
That's
man
how
up.
y'all boy Jeremy
That's
Lin
not
got
always
his
the case.
chance with the Knicks. It was next man up, bro. That's
not
what it
always the
is,
case.
bro.
When
Sometimes
your best- when
it's not the
your best
case.
players-
It's not the case when you
it's
don't
your
have the
best players.
talent to
It's
step
not like
up.
football.
Nah,
It's not like football where you can just plug guys
listen,
in.
I'll
where
give
it's 11
Pippen, I'll
man,
give
where
Pippen his
one man
respect.
can't
When
account for
Jordan
somebody.
retired, Pippen held the Bulls up. That's what you want in the second guy. A lot of people second guy that they think is their second guy ain't their second guy because he can't do that. He cannot do that. Pippen did something there. I got to give him that credit. He ain't, what he think he is, but he did something. He kept them afloat. And that's what you want your second guy when you go down to do. Now, LeBron's keeping them afloat, but his afloat is an 8 seed right now, bro. They lost the game yesterday or the day before, whatever it was, to the Pacers that they were up. They were up 15, if I'm not mistaken. If LeBron's you got to finish that game out. He knows that. You got to finish this game out. And I know that goes to the pieces around him. I know that also goes to the pieces around him. But like I said before, you got those pieces there. You was like, yeah, I'm okay with that, bro. You're not going to tell me LeBron wasn't like, yeah,
why y'all giving so much credit to LeBron?
Like, no, because it's his
history.
It's his history. When he wants somebody, he's like Tom Brady. When he wants somebody, he gets them, bro. When has LeBron wanted somebody and didn't get them? Besides poor George going to Cleveland, because poor George's like, I'm not going to Cleveland.
He didn't. First of all, I don't believe Bron went out to go and get Kevin Love. They brought Kevin Love to the table, and Bron okayed.
No, he wanted another piece before he went back, bro.
Bron okayed it. They okayed Kevin Love. He didn't go out to search Kevin Love to bring him over there.
But that's what I said. That he does. But I didn't say he searched. Kyrie got drafted, but I said, does LeBron not give the okay to bring those guys in? That's what I said, and he does. So if he has to understand, like, yo, if this is my lineup, I need to make a way to make it work.
You don't think they ran Russ by Anthony Davis either?
Oh no, probably yeah. Probably, yeah, because he's supposed to be a superstar. You guys see him as a superstar.
So you bring those type of decisions across your superstars.
Yeah, and I agree.
You don't think that's happening on other teams?
But that has to be some of their fault too. You got to know the players you can play with and what their skill set is. You watch these guys, bro. You play against them all the time. How many times has LeBron
guys don't always get a chance to play with each other?
That's true. I would agree. That's true. That's true. In the Penn system, he might fit somewhere else, like Jordan Clarkson. When Jordan Clarkson went and played with LeBron, he didn't fit there. He didn't fit in that system. But when he went to the Jazz, he started to shine as a six man off that bench. And he was like that on the Lakers too. So that's what I'm saying. It's all about fit. You, as LeBron being that guy to be like, yo, yeah, I'm okay with that. He got to be like, all right, how do we work this guy in? They all do it the same way he went to Carmelo and was like, yo, Carmelo, this is your role, bro. And Carmelo was like, all right, just like he went to Russ and like, yo, this is your role. When they had that sit down with AD and him, AD, you got to play 5 more. How much did AD play the 5 this year? When he was healthy, when he was in, how much did he play the 5?
A couple times, but it goes into coaching. It was a couple times. It was a couple times where he played the 5. But
I thought the agreement was he was going to play the 5 more. That's what the agreement was.
No, but supposed to play the 5 more. His initial agreement into coming into LA was
I'm talking about with Russ. No, I'm talking about with Russ when they had to sit down. The agreement was AD runs more 5.
That's what I'm saying. It goes back to AD's initially coming to LA. When he initially came to LA, he told them that they needed to go out and find another big man to play the 5 because he's not comfortable playing the 5, or he doesn't really want to play the he doesn't want to have to bear the responsibilities of playing the 5. And that's still the case because at the beginning of the year he didn't start off as the 5. They started him at the 4, and we started DeAndre Jordan at the 5. And then eventually they moved him to the 5. They moved Bron to the 4. Then Frankie V has just been moving around all of these lineups. I mean, that's why I hold his feet to the fire on that. But then I can't really hold his feet too long to the fire because at the end of the day, he can only play who he has out there. But it's his job to find the best consistent lineup and to put that team out there consistently.
Because it ain't over. I'm with you, Frank. It ain't over. They got a chance to get a higher seed, but you got to make some moves, bro. You got with a Rondo, I would have kept him off that bench.
Back to LeBron, if he's if he's specifically showing you the value, showing you what an MVP is supposed to be, the most valuable
Nah,
player.
bro, a lot goes into being an MVP.
Because if LeBron is not on the Lakers, they're a lottery team, and we all know it.
That's true, but take away any
But when he's on
superstar
the
on any
team,
team.
but
So
with
take
him on the
KD,
team,
take
he's
KD
fighting
off
for
the
the
take
sixth
KD off the
seed.
Nets right
That's
now.
not
With
MVP.
just
Roy, I
James
see you
Harden and
looking at me,
Kyrie playing
Roy.
away
I
games.
see you looking at me, Roy.
What are you
looking
saying?
because
Go
I'm making
take
sense now.
well, you can't take John
Sense
off
now.
of Grizzlies. That might be a different story. Them guys got to play with some heart out there. But you go take Giannis off the Bucks. What are the Bucks without Giannis? Nothing. Like what are the 76ers
They're
without
still
Joel
a
Embiid?
playoff
Nothing.
team. And the Eastern
The Bucks
Conference,
are a
the
playoff
Bucks aren't a
team?
playoff
No,
team.
bro. No, they're not. No,
I
they're
mean,
not.
so the Bucks are not. The Bucks
No,
aren't
they're
fighting
not.
good position with the Knicks. What makes the Knicks that much better than the Bucks without Giannis?
The Knicks are trash. They're not
The
even
Bucks still
close
got
to
two
Giannis.
stars. They still got two stars.
Right, and who? Middleton, who's
Drew Holiday
up and down.
and Middleton.
Middleton, who's up and down, especially when it counts the most. Come on, let's
They're
not do
still
this.
better than the Knicks.
Let's not
They're
do
still
this.
better
They
than the
are.
Knicks.
They are collectively.
All right, so they're still
collectively.
a playoff team.
But I'm saying, you saying if you take LeBron off, no, I don't think they are a playoff team. If you
LeBron
take Giannis
that
off that
Lakers
team,
they're a
yeah.
lottery
But if
team.
you take, okay, so you telling me the Bucks, even if they are a playoff team, you're telling me the Bucks without Giannis go from 4th seed to play-in, bro. That's where they go. 4th seed to play in.
Okay, so the Lakers go from a 6th seed to the lottery, to a top 3 seed.
They're not even 6.
They're not
eight.
6.
They're
They're not 6.
They're about to be in a play-in.
We flirting with 6. We 2
Y'all
games
flirting with 6.
Mm.
Yeah, y'all gonna
We 2
lose
games
tonight
away
to the
from 6.
Pacers. Pacers just beat the Warriors last night, so they're coming in there with their
That's
heads
what I'm saying. So
swollen.
you
You ain't even
so
flirting with it. You on Tinder with it right now.
He swiped right.
Yeah.
we'll be the 6th seed by the end of the year. I promise you.
If you
We'll
guys
be
are
the
the
6th
6th
seed.
seed, you play the Grizzlies, so you better hope. I think
Oh,
you better
L.
not. Yeah, you better hope you play the damn
I'm
Grizzlies.
making my case for LeBron, man.
You better not
guys,
say
it's a lot of
AC,
disrespect.
That's
because
cool.
It's a
y'all
lot
gonna
of
get bounced to the
disrespect going on
Suns
the
again
Kings'
this year.
names
You better
lately.
stop it. Y'all poised to get bounced by the Suns again.
You're gonna
Again.
try, I mean, the Lakers, those LA
Again.
teams, the Lakers and the Clippers,
Again.
when they're healthy, they're the most dominant team. I mean, they're the
Cousins just got
scariest teams in the playoffs. They position themselves to be that team, and you don't want to see neither one of those teams healthy in the playoffs.
Let's get some final thoughts in here, boys.
Your final thoughts. Since you're going, Frank, final thoughts, Frank.
Final thoughts, man. You know what time it is. You know what time it is.
Tighten up.
Titan fans, man, stand up. Tomorrow is the day. Tomorrow is our big day, man. Hopefully, we can start this run for the playoffs, start the Super Bowl run. This is our best chance, our best time. I can't say that I'm not nervous. I mean, the last time we was a number 1 seed, we lost the divisional round.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully we got a new regime, we got a new head coach, we got a new everything about us, our character, everything about us is just completely new, and I'm excited to see this game, man. I'm wishing for the best. I'm just wishing great football all around, but it'll be even better if my Titans come out with the W. So, shout out old boy. I mean, I can't remember his name again.
L. Bushman.
L. Bushman. Shout out Bushman, man, for the drop in today, man. I appreciate you and your insight.
Yeah, I'll say my final thoughts. I am rooting for the Titans. I like Mike Vrabel. He's a former Steeler, so I gotta go for him. But I don't think they're gonna win. Sorry. But it'll be a good one. But man, I had to set you up for that, man. I'm so sorry I did that to you.
Hey, yeah, that's crazy. It's
look,
perfect, man. That's crazy.
I
Y'all supposed to be my boys, especially guys.
No, I had you. I got to tell you with him. Stop putting me in this, Frank.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Stop putting me in this,
like,
Frank.
y'all two,
All day.
I'm just saying, y'all two got to be my boy. Y'all supposed to stand by my tape.
I stand by you guys. Can't let
That's
this
my
come in here
Titans,
and
man.
win these damn quizzes.
Both of y'all teams is out for the year, so y'all just need to just jump on this.
I'll support.
Hey, we just got a new GM and little shocking news. Carolina Panthers. I think it's the Panthers. Yeah, they just hired Ben McAdoo as their offensive coordinator.
McAdoo.
Oh my God.
See ya.
All right. But yeah, my final thoughts, man. Oh man. So I mean, hey, NFL season's winding down. So we got to enjoy these games while we got them, because when the offseason comes around, we are going to be so upset that we don't have any football going on. So really sit down and watch these games, enjoy these games, because when that offseason comes, we're going to be begging for sports to watch. I mean, we have basketball, you know, but like there's also that dry spell. Yeah, but that's that dry spell where it's like you really want to watch football. You want to watch football when you can't. So that really sucks. So, you know, sit down here, watch these games and enjoy it, man. You know, if your team's out, just watch the games for fun. You're a fan of the game, right? Watch the games. Let's go. Let's have fun. Let's see who wins the Super Bowl. Maybe it's the Titans. Who knows?
I'm trying to tell you, Titans.
My final thoughts is thank you guys for watching over on YouTube, listening on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts. We do want to thank our guest, L. Bushman, for showing up today.
Thank you, Bushman.
He will be back next Friday, so tune in. All right. We're getting these guests rolling, man. It feels good to get other people in here. Like Frank said, man, to share your knowledge, man, is amazing. We loved having him. I during the show, you know, just a little insider, I was texting him a little bit when he left, and he said he's gonna try to have that little voiceover for us by next weekend. So we getting it, bro. So I just want to thank you, man. It's a pleasure having you here. It's a pleasure always having my counterparts, Roy and Frank, with me. And we're gonna get it moving forward, man. Just remember, hit the like button. If you got friends that listen to us, sub to us. Check out our Instagram. We're gonna be doing some stuff over there, some giveaways, some lives and stuff like that. So make sure you check us out over there. And without further ado, man, this is the Sideline from the Sideline podcast. Peace.
Peace.